So far, he's done it with his arm and his legs, becoming the first player in NFL history to throw for 250 yards and rush for 50 yards in consecutive playoff games. Mahomes has thrown for 8 touchdowns this postseason, added another one on the ground, and not turned the ball over one time. That's the most touchdowns accounted for without a turnover ever entering the Super Bowl. And the Chiefs' offense has been electric, averaging 43 points per game this postseason. That's the second most points by any team in a run to the Super Bowl, behind only the 1990 Bills. So Dan Orlovsky, look, Patrick Mahomes is Patrick Mahomes, but what makes it so difficult to defend all the weapons around him and an Andy Reid coach team?
They have too many good players that you don't match up with, and then their coach understands if you're going to do certain things, we're going to make you hurt. So early on in this football game, the best player on the Chiefs is Travis Kelce. So it makes a lot of sense if you're a defense to defend and double team one guy, it's going to be Kelce. So Patrick Mahomes realizes it as the ball gets snapped. This is that double team to Kelce. So now everybody else on the defense is really in a one-on-one situation. So Mahomes is going to go, okay, which one do I like? Do I like Mecole Hardman, who I just brought in motion one-on-one? I like him. Do I like Sammy Watkins on the outside with the off corner? I like it. Or do I love the fact that you're going to play press on Tyreek Hill at the line of scrimmage? Now, beautiful job by bringing Mecole Hardman in motion and then Mahomes kind of staring at him. Remember, this is that double team up top to Kelce. So everybody else is one-on-one. Mahomes realizes it, stares at Mecole Hardman to get that safety to just hang on that backside hash. And everyone says things happen faster in the red zone. Well, they happen really fast for a quarterback that knows the coverage. Ball is out of his hands already. Tyreek Hill has just decided to peek back as he's going on his vertical route, and it's an easy touchdown for the Chiefs. Well, the next process, if you're a defensive coordinator, goes, okay, that didn't work. I can't leave both of those guys in a compromising situation one-on-one. So here's Travis Kelce, and here's Tyreek Hill. If you're going to take the next step as a defense, you're going to go, I'm going to double Kelce, and I'm going to double Tyreek Hill. I want everyone to watch the numbers that are allocated. Again, these are just 2 guys, Kelce and Hill. Look at Tennessee has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys on the Tennessee Titans defense are paying attention to just 2 for the Kansas City Chiefs offense. Again, that leaves another weapon one-on-one. Look at Sammy Watkins right here. As this safety drives that shallow cross, he kicks back to the middle of the field, and Patrick Mahomes realizes 3-man rush, I'm just going to drift this way and give that one-on-one launch to Sammy Watkins down the field because everybody else in the defense is paying attention to Kelce and Hill. Now, this is to salt this game away. Here's Travis Kelce. Let's double him. Here's Tyreek Hill. Let's double him. Look at the numbers again, paying attention to those 2 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guys on the defense are allocated to 2. That only leaves you 6. Last time it was Sammy Watkins on the design launch downfield. This time it's going to be Mecole Hardman splitting those safeties, Patrick Mahomes drifting from that 3-man rush, and here becomes another launch downfield. Ends up being pass interference, which is really a 50-yard game. So it comes down to this. Who do you want to try and defend? Do you have enough people to do it? And then understanding, Andy Reid sees it, and he knows if you're going to double Kelce and you double Hill, Watkins, Mecole Hardman, you don't have enough people.
I think this is why Patrick Mahomes' weapons seem to love him so much. How could you not? Dan Orlovsky, our offensive coordinator. Greeny, back to you.
All right, so that's the quarterback on one side. Let's talk about the legendary quarterback on the other. Aaron Rodgers yesterday lost his 4th playoff game by at least 14 points from Sneaky Hembo, who's the only quarterback with more such losses.
For Greeny to lose 4, that means you have to be in the playoffs a lot. And I think of one player that's been in the playoffs a lot but faced good teams. I'm going to go Matty Ice Matt Ryan.
No, that is incorrect.
Hembo!
It's an even better player. The answer is Dan Marino, who lost.
Swagoo!
Look at Swagoo. Look at Swagoo. He's walking away.
We had him, Swagoo.
Swagoo had it right. Bart did not.
You didn't convince me.
Let's
defensive mate.
Let's take a look at what happened to Aaron Rodgers yesterday. Packers and Niners in the NFC Championship game in Santa Clara. And you know what happened to Rodgers yesterday? Raheem Mostert happened to Aaron Rodgers yesterday. Mostert, part of the day of a lifetime right off the bat.
And you saw this early on. When this play call happened on 3rd and 8 and Kyle Shanahan decides to trap the defensive line that's going to go penetrate upfield, I said, well, he's got to beat on this defense for the whole game.
Meanwhile, it's 20-0 against him, and here is one of 2 turnovers that the Packers had in that second quarter that just killed them.
This is a great play by the corner at the bottom of the screen, Mosley. He plays in between the two receivers, on top of them, in between them, and realizes the ball coming out of Rodgers' hands before Allison ever looked back around. Beautiful cover 3 coverage.
Sets up Mostert to, for all intents and purposes, put the game away before halftime. It's 27-0 at that point. Mostert would carry it 29 times for 220 yards and 4 touchdowns.
It's a great run. He kind of peeks inside, gets the defenders to pop in, and then he bounces it on the outside, speed and finish at the end, and I love this celebration.
So the Niners go on, and the Packers and their legendary quarterback go home.
Just kind of felt like it was meant to be almost. So that is a little disappointing, a little more disappointing. Then you realize, I don't have the same number of years ahead of me as I do behind me. So it's slightly more disappointing. But this one will always be special because it became fun again.
Well, so he enjoyed the season, but candidly, going back to when he beat Pittsburgh in Super Bowl 45, this game has been the end of the road. He's lost his last 3 trips to the conference championship. He's now the 5th starting quarterback to do so since the 1970 merger. And Swagoo, the question is being raised because he is an all-time great, and his legacy in that regard is in cement. That is not up for debate. But the question is, did the window close on him? Was this his last best chance?
I don't believe so, G. I think it's really about other teams. That's why we're having this conversation that are getting better, younger quarterbacks. We see the new trend in the league, but Aaron Rodgers still has juice. It's the same argument we had about Tom Brady this year. Think about it, the weapons and were they good enough to get there? They were in the playoffs. They just played in the NFC Championship game. Here's the thing, though. The one thing we've talked about with Green Bay, and this is my concern, Green Bay has not done a tremendous job of surrounding Aaron Rodgers with enough pieces. We talked about that for years. We talked about that from an offensive standpoint. When will they create a run game? Aaron Jones was magnificent this year. I think he's the guy going into the future. I think he's a piece away. He's a dynamic player away. Look at the teams that's about to play in the Super Bowl. They're a dynamic player. George Kittle is dynamic. We talk about Tyreek Hill, Mecole Hardman, all of the guys in Kansas City. You surround Aaron Rodgers with a couple guys like that have an elite skill set. They don't need to be Hall of Fame players. They need an elite skill set, and he can get them right back to where they need to be.
Here's what I'm thinking, Danny. If you look at the top quarterbacks in the NFC, because most of the young legends we talk about are in the AFC.
Yep.
In the NFC, the young guys are Daniel Jones, Kyler Murray, Trubisky, Dwayne Haskins. The really delicious scenario here is his old coach, Mike McCarthy, now in Dallas with Dak against Rodgers for all the marbles next year.
Can we get it? Can we get that next year? I don't understand the whole let's bury Aaron Rodgers thing right now. I don't get it. I think that if you look at what this team was a couple years ago, I mean, this is a team that was in the NFC title game yesterday, and they just ran into a team that is much more complete, that is 3 years more in advance than their kind of rebuild and development, all those first-round picks on that defensive line. If you get people around Aaron Rodgers, they need another piece or two to Marcus's point. This team, again, will make another playoff run. The interesting or the more fascinating piece of it to me is this. Rodgers has never been a technician. He has never been a mechanically sound guy. And the guys that have gone into the back end of their career and played really well are Tom Brady, Drew Brees, are these technicians. And if I was Matt LaFleur, I would sit down with Aaron and dead honest go, listen, let's get some mechanically sound stuff to our game, because as you get older and the talent does fall off slightly, the mechanic or the lack of mechanics will show up. If he can refine some of that stuff, they'll be right back in the conversation again.
Here's the problem. It's about windows. And his window is closing, and other teams with young quarterbacks' windows are opening. So then you have to ask yourself as an organization, we understand that the sand is running out of the hourglass for Aaron Rodgers. He's starting to talk like this. He's starting to sound defeated because he understood. They knew when they got off that plane he was going to take an L, right? But when he did that and he went out there, they just confirmed what he already believed. They have to decide, are we going to mortgage the future for the present? Are we going to go all in like we've seen them do with the Saints? Not only have they drafted well, they gave up a first-round draft pick to go get Davenport to try and give him more help. So are they going to mortgage the future to give him the weapons that he needs for a 2-year run to try and make sure that he can ride off into the sunset like Shane? And
that answer is a 100% absolute no-brainer yes, if that's the case.
You know, and the reality of it is they've had basically 30 consecutive seasons of first-ballot Hall of Fame quarterback play.
Right.
And as of right now, they have 2 championships to show for it.
I'm on that list too, Green.
We'll see if they add one
three
more.
consecutive AFC championships, it hurts.
Yeah, there's no question. And for Rodgers, it's a frustrating day.
Can't win.
Today on SportsCenter.
No, Fuego, we ain't never been friends no more.
That
Get
wasn't
this
nice.
man away from me.
Today on SportsCenter, how the Niners defense can slow down Mahomes. Kyrie and Ben Simmons duel. The Nets hosting the Sixers, and on MLK Day, remembering how Curt Flood started a movement that would change sports forever. All that and more tonight. SportsCenter, 6 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app. Meanwhile, coming here, Phillip Rivers got a moving van. Tom Brady took a photo. We'll tell you why both of those things set the rumor mill on fire this weekend. Get up on ESPN.